recording, so I'm going to record to my computer as well so that I can put this onto, I can put it on my YouTube channel once
Hmm.
we're finished. All right, so I'm just going to close that. All right, so we've obviously got Derek from Odoo. He's sharing his screen with us, which is fantastic. Um, oh, wonderful. Jodes is just back from the ICB AI workshop. Amazing for setup, onboarding, calendars, agents. Oh my God, yes. AI has been a game changer, and this I think you'll find is also a bit of a game changer because it literally has 100 apps in one. So you're only paying one subscription and you get access to all this stuff. So their accounting software is out already, which also works within this, and their payroll is getting worked out. So that will be also launched hopefully, soon. But that's something that Derek can absolutely talk to you about. I'm just going to add a few more people. We are
Hmm.
recording this session, so I will send you the link to the YouTube channel as well. So if you've missed anything, you can always go back to that. But yeah, so welcome to Derek, and I will let him do his presentation, and then we'll do a Q&A, and we'll get to know what's going on, and you guys can ask questions about the apps and things that it does and things like that. So I'll hand over to you.
Thanks so much, Kelly. Thanks everyone for being here. I really appreciate taking the time. I'll go through a quick little agenda of what we're going to cover today. Try to get through everything and get everyone out by the end of the hour, within the hour. So the four things I want to cover, say a bit of an intro about Odoo as a company and what we do and why we exist. I want to go through five sample scenarios that a lot of bookkeepers and bookkeeping agency, bookkeeping business owners go through. Callie mentioned some of the accounting and payroll stuff we have. That is key aspect of Odoo, but today's sessions really focus on the practice management, working on your business rather than in your business and how to organize yourself. So I'm sure you have clients over lots of different systems, QuickBooks, Xero, Mile, other systems, but it's how you get your own business organized and into a single system. So you have one subscription, one login, a single place where everything fits. So I'm going to go through those five scenarios. At the end, I've got a unique offer. Which is just for the members of Callie's network. Whether you're watching this live or the recording, you can access that offer. So stay tuned for that. Or if you have to drop off, check out the recording and emails. You'll see a link to that. At the end, I want to try and allow sort of 5-10 minutes for Q&A. About anything I've covered or anything that comes up. Like I said, my colleague Dylan's here as well, so I'll probably struggle to monitor the chat while I'm presenting. But I'm sure we can do audio Q&A at the end, and then if there's little things in the chat, I'm sure Dylan can jump in if you've got specific questions, so I can sort of keep the flow going. But yeah, that's what we want to cover off today. So this is Fabian, the founder and CEO of Odoo. So he started the business about 20 years ago in his sort of college dorm room, as a lot of tech sort of startups happen. But what's a bit unique is even though we've grown to a very large scale global business, he's still the primary shareholder, owner, founder. So very much founder-led, privately held, sort of founder DNA in the company. And like I said, he's a tech guy who's still actively coding, developing, and head downs of in the product. It's as a like I said, large privately held software business, which is quite unique as well, with a mission to unleash companies' potentials, focus on small business owners empowering users with tools they love. And he makes a great analogy that even the best carpenter in the world, if they've got, a hammer instead of more modern tools, or they've got, rusty saw or things like that, the best carpenter in the world is not going to do a good job. So the tools really matter. And in the, bookkeeping professional service trade, a lot of those tools are your practice management, and your sort of business systems and software. And if you don't have good tools, yourself and your team aren't going to do your best work. So I mentioned global, like I said, in 20 years, we've expanded, especially in the Northern Hemisphere a lot, to 7,000 employees, 200,000 small business clients, with 15 million people logging in sort of every day or every week into Odoo, using the system. The benefit of that global reach is 24/6 tech support, which is included in our software, as well as the best ideas from all over the world that we're constantly putting into products, every year that we invest into R&D.
To pay why he's going through the bullshit.
Um, Locally, we've got 80 people on the Gold Coast office. Like I said, it's only about 3 years old, but we've already grown to 80 staff, thousands of clients, and again, tens of thousands of users where we manage Australia and New Zealand from this office and support them, and are increasingly expanding and supporting more clients and small to medium-sized business owners across the region. So I'm going to go through some sample uses of Odoo, and like I said, the goal and the real magic of Odoo, if you take away one thing, is sort of having one central system. A lot of bookkeepers are very skilled at juggling lots of client systems, which is sort of a strength and a weakness. But for their own business, often they end up with a lot of disparate systems. So you might have seen in Callie's marketing, she mentioned about getting back your time, your money, and your sanity. So that's what I'm aiming to show you today. Oops, sorry. So if I go to just make sure everyone can see that. Okay, this is a demo file of Odoo that I've created. So I'll talk everyone through sort of the look and feel of how it works. So you might see all these apps here. A good way to sort of understand it is to think of it like an iPhone. Where on your iPhone, you've got all these different apps, and they all sort of function in a nice, smooth, cohesive manner. So if you take a photo with your iPhone camera, saves to the camera roll, and then you go to your contacts, and you want to text someone, the messaging app connects to the contacts, the camera roll, so that you can text someone a photo that you took, and all that sort of flows very smoothly. And that's the same philosophy of Odoo, where there's one database, a central system where your whole business sort of sits on a single database. So different things, whether it's time sheeting, customer data, customer marketing, communications, your website, everything can pull into a single system. And that allows data to move simply, so you're not being a human copying and paste machine, like Kelly's mentioned, moving things between systems, duplicating, and neither are your team, which makes everything work really smoothly. So one thing I always like to start with is the contacts, because that's essentially the heart of your business, all the people in your business. So the contacts app in Odoo is your customers, your prospects, your clients, everyone who your business is in touch with. And the contacts app is that central hub that everything else connects to, because they're your prospective clients you're trying to sign up, your clients you're working with, maybe ex-clients and referral partners, people you stay in touch with. So for example, here you can have tags, and just again, a simple view, you can do group by tags, and then here you can see a nice summary view of like a list of clients, ex-clients, prospects, referral partners. So you can toggle list view, sort of post-it note view. You can sort by geography, by status, like a referral partner versus an ex-client. And when you need to find someone, you're not digging through your emails or old systems, it's all sort of here. And then when you're clicking on someone, you can fill in a lot more detailed information and see at the top here all the ways they interface with your business in sales opportunities, invoices, or tasks and things like that. So another thing that helps to understand Odoo and how it sort of centralizes your communication, getting out of your inbox, out of your other systems, is this activities and task clock up here. This is where you can see a mini dashboard of everything you've got on that day, or you can view all your activities. So again, instead of juggling calendar, inbox, 5 different places, post-it notes, separate systems, you can have them all in one place, and look in on it here. You might want to go straight to your overdue ones, or you might even want to do like a custom filter, for example. So I want to just see my activity type equals calls, because calls, you might want to catch up on all your calls. I can filter and just see my calls. So I want to get those out of the way, so then I can do my focused work the rest of the day. You can also save this as a favorite. So I might call this, my calls. And then straight away, if I want, anytime I can go into my activities and just see who do I need to call today and prioritize that. If you've got team members, which I'm sure some of you do, where they're casuals, freelancers, employees, you might want to see, instead of seeing my activities, you might want to check in on what is, like I've got Dylan here, what's Dylan working on? And this is where you can see your team members' tasks. And this is also a way for you to be confident in what they're working on, for them to know what they're working on, so everyone's really clear. It saves a lot of stand-up meetings and huddles. And again, you can save that search, and I could call that Dylan activities, for example. So straight away, and if you've got multiple staff, you have different filters for each staff member. You can see, what's Dylan got to work on? Where does he need help? He's got to send a P&L and KPIs. He's got payroll things. End of month close, he's got to follow up. So you can see what's overdue as well and what's on track. Another thing that's also really important, especially these days, a lot of people work remotely. You might not be in the same physical space as your staff, which is very common, very normal, is to have a discuss app where we have. So if I wanted to send Dylan a message within Odoo, I can say, hi Dylan, free for a chat, and he can get that message. And then I can also do a video call or a VoIP phone call straight from here. Or if you've got more than one employee, you might even have some group chat. So if you've used like a Slack or a Teams, it's a way to sort of centralize some of those things. So it's all in here, and you can link to other things in Odoo. So this is a way to collaborate, easily link within the system, have your tasks, your team's tasks. Everyone knows what everyone's working on. Everyone can see what's coming up, what's overdue. If there's a big bottleneck, maybe if someone's on leave, you can bulk reassign all their tasks to someone else. Or if someone's sick, you're not guessing at what's due or what's going on. Everything's sort of in one place. Two other ones, and again, this is just sort of setting the foundation a little bit for some of the more specific bookkeeper business practice management I'm going to go through today. The Documents app is like a Dropbox or OneDrive built in here, so you can have documents and files from clients, internal things like that. And the Knowledge is like an intranet, so that's really powerful. You can have your internal operating procedures, your client files, their preferences, notes. You can make some of these public if you've got public FAQs or little DIY tips for your business owner clients. But if you want a lot of internal formatted messages, you can also have, per client, per service, per team member, notes and client files all in one place here. So that's sort of like the baseline foundation of getting organized and the sort of look and feel of Odoo. Um, so hopefully everyone sort of can see how getting things out of your inbox, out of your phone, out of, group chats, WhatsApp messages, all in one sort of place can help sort of get everyone on the same page. So the first scenario I want to talk about what everyone's aiming to do, obviously, grow their business, get more clients, a simple and smooth way to have a professional and clean looking way to send out agreements. So we have a sign app. So some of you might be just doing email confirmations or you might be sending a PDF attachment. The sign app, you can have a template, like a client engagement letter template that you have and you want to send. You can put the fields if you've used other business document signing systems before, like a DocuSign. This will all look quite familiar, but you can have text that the person enters, your template, you can have the signature, the order, things like that. I mentioned the AI sort of feature, so this is a little example for Callie and for everyone of the sort of Odoo AI. You can connect it to your Chat GPT and other things. Like say, for example, here I click the AI button and I say draft an email for sending a client services agreement from my bookkeeper business to a prospective client to sign and start working with me. So I'm prompting the AI to write that email for me. And then there it's got it. I hope the message finds you well. Client engagement letter. You can click use this, and that will paste that into the email. So that's a simple one. I'm sure lots of people use sort of text-based prompts, but this is where you could do that. You can also attach, maybe you've got some client references, things like that you want to attach, either from your desktop or from the Documents app I just mentioned. You can attach that as well. You can see other people, maybe their accountant or other people who would be involved in the thing. You can have multiple signers, maybe if there's two co-owners of the business, and you can have automated reminders if they haven't signed. You can set the order. So again, a fully functioning signing to send template messages, and you can send that and even connect your email and send it through Odoo. So you click send, it actually sends the email from you via Odoo. So again, the goal here is getting your paperwork organized, making it easy to onboard clients. When someone says sends me a proposal, you don't lose half a day typing it up, finding a format, getting it all organized, getting a different system, going through your inbox without even leaving Odoo. You can quickly send them a contract and get moving. There is a CRM, if you want a sort of fully functioning CRM, this is all in Odoo. I find most professional services business, if you're dealing with less than 10 leads a month, I would say you probably don't need to use the CRM if you're a larger business or doing a high volume of maybe catch-up accounts or one-time work and dealing with 15 or 20 leads a month, then I would encourage you to use the CRM, but I'll show you shortly an alternate to the Odoo CRM. Still gets everything in Odoo without the sort of CRM, which is more for someone who's spending a lot more time doing sales activities. All right, so the core of Odoo for a service business and for a lot of bookkeeping business owners and running their practice is the sort of workflow of who's doing what and when and all the services. So this is where the Projects app and the Timesheets app are going to be most powerful. And this is where a lot of information is going to be stored. I mentioned an alternative to the CRM. So this is not just where you're tracking your client projects, or each client would be its own project. And you have tasks in that project. This is where I would recommend having like a leads and prospects segment, and you can have follow-up. So again, if you're only dealing with 5 leads a month, you can have those and create like your own little mini CRM, leads to chase up, deals in progress, people maybe sent a quote to, and then either won or lost. Um, so for example, you have someone, you meet them at an event, you change them, you might set an activity to call them a week from now. So Monday next week, you want to call, you don't want to forget, and that will show up in that activity list that I said before in your calls, and you could filter by, sales activities, for example, and, create a view. So every week, even every day, you make sure you're pushing forward any potential deals to always have new clients coming in. Or for example, as well, you might have your, referral partners, may have accountants, financial planners, business coaches you engage with, and you might want to every quarter, touch base with them, how they're going, do any of their clients need help? If you have some shared clients, check in with them. So this is a way to not just rely on your memory and your inbox, but to have everything, in one sort of place to organize your client workflow, but also your prospective clients before they become clients, and even referral partners or other people who might sort of feed your work, or you could create a project for internal marketing. If you're running your own webinars and events or networking events, projects is that sort of beating heart of every sort of service business and how they use Odoo. Um, and if you haven't used a workflow tool like this, it's all very intuitive. You drag and drop things between stages. You can click and edit to rename a stage for leads. If you just want to call this leads or new leads, you can save that. It's very visual, color coding. You can tag it. And again, very easy to put notes, descriptions, information, keep everything organized. Or if multiple people in the business are touching a lead or coordinating, you can all do that there. So that's the sort of mini CRM inside the projects, which I'd recommend. Like I said, if you're doing handling less than 10 leads a month, you can have templates as well. You see here like a bookkeeping package, you might have a payroll package or a BAS package, or a catch-up accounts package. So you can have a template project with a whole bunch of tasks. So every time you have a new client, you've already got that template built and ready. Say for example here, again, it's up to you how you structure it. You start essentially with a blank database, but here's just some sample data. Some people like the to-do, doing, done sort of post-it note, whiteboard method. Again, all the different views like a Gantt chart, calendar, list view here. But you can have these set of tasks and have who it's assigned to. So, you know exactly who's doing what. And then, like I was showing before, I won't redo it, but the views of what do I need to do. So, Dylan, if he's on my team as a bookkeeper, junior bookkeeper, he can see his tasks every day. What's due? What does he need to work on? If there's a issue, he can also comment and tag me internally through the group chat or other methods, and track everything. So, just getting that workflow, who's doing what when, all sort of in one place. For some things that are more detailed, you might even have subtasks. So you can just have a high-level quarterly BAS prep. Maybe you're all senior, you all know exactly what to do. But if you want detailed subtasks that you also sort of tick off and pending approval or things like that, you can have subtasks under a task to create almost a bit like a standard operating procedure. One other thing that can help is having the projects app, which sits within the Odoo ecosystem, shared with external people. So even people who aren't employees of your business, you're not paying for their subscription, they're a free user. They can have essentially like an external free Odoo account where you can, so I can go here on a project, like let's say XYZ Fitness Club. I want to share this project with maybe the owner of the business, maybe a manager in the business who's handling sort of your relationship with them, maybe even an accountant or a financial planner who's also involved with the business. So you build up this sort of system of how you handle things, who's doing what when, who's responsible for what. You can give them a public link they can view here, or you can add them as a specific collaborator and then share the project with them. So I'll show this. Hopefully that works okay. Yeah. So you can see this is now I'm swapping into the view of someone who's not on your Odoo account, not a paid subscriber. So it could be, like I said, a client, an accountant who you share that client with, and you want to share that project with them. They can be shared on that, and then they see almost the same view, a slightly stripped down version of the view you see, but they can see what you're working on, what Dylan's working on. They might have certain tasks, that we hand off between the bookkeeper and the accountant at tax time. financial advisor might be involved, other people in the business might be involved. So this projects app can be sort of shared externally, and there might be certain aspects you don't want to share, but you might have a shared sort of workflow. So rather than a bunch of emails and constantly chasing people up, you empower your clients to sort of self-serve and know what's going on, what the deadlines are, things like that. Um, and to be able to, you can assign them tasks, they can comment on tasks, they can, again, this is the external view, they can sort of put messages, progress tasks, and sort of interact with your project software. So you're not just creating a hub for yourself, you're creating it for other people in the business who are interacting with the client's account. They can also submit documents. That's a big thing as well, moving files around. So through the Documents app, you can share them a public link as well. So each of your clients, accountants, external people can drop files in directly into your Odoo documents. It's connected to the client and the project. Um, the core of a lot of service businesses, of course, bookkeepers and many others, is time sheeting. Even if you don't bill based on time, if you do fixed fee or based on transaction volume, you still often want to track for your own purposes the timesheets. So here in Odoo, you can do it just directly like this. So I can just add a line with the date, put in payroll review. And if that was an hour, put in an hour, and that sort of logs easily like that, and then save it. Another option or a workflow I'd recommend for a lot of people running a bookkeeping business is you or your staff can actually have the Odoo app on your phone. It's cloud-based, so you can run it on your desktop or a tablet or your phone. You can have it on your phone. If you see, you click here, you're on this task, weekly payroll for XYZ Fitness, you can click start, and the timer starts. So you can have the timer, essentially the Odoo app on your phone, in the task. So your monitor, you're actually inside the Xero or MyOb file of your client, or working on the work papers or whatever you need to prep, or you're interfacing with the ATO, and you can have the timesheeting app sort of running like a stopwatch on your Odoo app on your phone, and then be working on the computer, and then stop it. And that's another easy way. And you can have auto rounding, so it rounds up to the nearest 15 minutes, which is what a lot of businesses do. But you could change that to 10 minutes or 6 minutes or 30 minutes, however you do that. And again, this can be for internal use, non-billable, just to track, your fixed fee, $800 a month client, are you making money or not? Or it can, if you bill by the hour, obviously also easily create a report that you send with your monthly invoice to the client so they know how you got to your 10 hours or whatever you did for that month. You can have approval levels as well, where your team does the timesheets, we review it and sort of sense check it to make sure before they go out. And again, like I said, all these apps are interconnected. So you'll see that the timesheets app, for example, so I'm entering the projects, the client can see it as well if you want to do it that way. And there's a timesheet app specifically. So I just put that time that's shown here. So all of that is sort of captured. Like I said, there's reporting per employee, per project, per task. So if you really want to drill down and sort of analyze, you can export this to a pivot table. So if you like really drilling into your timesheets to manage the profitability, profit per client efficiency, you've got all of that there. And inside a client project as well, you can have these smart buttons up the top, like I said, documents, timesheets, and even see a dashboard of here on this client, for example, they've done a bunch of non-billable hours. So once you sort of invoice them, that would connect through here as well to show the revenue. But you can see, is this client profitable, non-profitable, how much time? And then if you click on the timesheets, it drills down into, well, where did this time go? Why are we doing this non-billable time? What was the task? What was the project? Who was on it? The employee, was it me? Was it Dylan? So again, very intuitive, very granular, all in one place, able to track everything. And the goal is, whether you're starting with 2 clients, whether you've already got 20 clients, it's a system that you're building that you don't outgrow, because as you have more projects, the same fundamentals still work. Timesheets, who's doing what when, sharing, getting the clients on a single view, and being able to see all the dashboards. So it's a system that you can maintain, and our clients will start with, but they never really outgrow because it is covering everything. And the whole goal is to sort of never miss another deadline. So I can't see the chat, but like I said, I'm happy to take questions at the end, or you can put it in the chat now if you like. So another common thing that a lot of busy business owners, busy bookkeepers face is staying in touch with all your clients. If it's all one-to-one, you individually call, email, text every client every time. That can be very time consuming. Or if you want to get a message out to everyone at once, again, that can be time consuming. Often it falls behind, then it's not timely. So really powerful thing in Odoo is the one-to-many communications. So again, you might have 15 clients and each client has, let's say, two owners, co-owners of the business. So you've got 30 different people who all need to be kept in touch with of specific timely matters. The SMS marketing app is very powerful. Built-in app in Odoo where you can send a bulk SMS to everyone to say, hey, everyone, I need the, these updates for your quarterly BAS or for a payroll deadline or interview deadline or other specific milestones, filing deadlines, other things that you need to bulk remind everyone of. You can create this one message, select your contacts lists. Like I said, that's where you could, in the contacts, where I group by clients, so you could just send active clients, for example. You might have payroll clients versus BAS clients versus, sole trader clients or other groupings you have. You can draft the message. It connects through Twilio, a popular sort of SMS software, natively integrates. So you can send it here to your list, and it will bulk SMS as long as you have all the mobile numbers in of your clients. Those reminders. So there's a way to keep everyone up to date and informed, or to prompt those maybe who are late or who struggle to keep on top of the inbox. Maybe they're in a trade business or other businesses where they're not sitting at a desk and their emails all day. The other one's very popular is WhatsApp. There's no cost because as long as you have a Meta Business account, so Twilio is a fraction of a cent cost per message. But a lot of people, or if your clients are geographically dispersed, not all in Australia, they're doing other things. They travel a lot. This is where the WhatsApp bulk messages can also be very helpful, where you can have templates, and you can send out quick reminders to your clients about certain things they have to sign, things they have to review, things they need to be aware of. And again, I think a lot of small business owners, if you ask them, probably always appreciate more communication from their accountants and their bookkeepers. So being able to do that effectively and professionally from your side makes a big difference. And the other communication method that's popular, a lot of people obviously have an email newsletter. You might have a dedicated system for that, but again, built into Odoo, the same contacts, it's pulling from the SMS and the projects and the WhatsApp. You can create a new email template. And again, Odoo's got a fully functioning email marketing system here. So a lot of people like to send a monthly or quarterly newsletter to their clients to keep them up to date about different things going on that's relevant, different tips and tricks, or different industry specific things, or maybe payroll changes, same day super, other things that are coming up that they need to be aware of. And then your client's going to appreciate those sort of communications without a lot of extra time and effort from your side. And also keeps you top of mind to sort of generate more referrals and, keep people loyal to your business. So it's all around that last sort of phase about more proactive, one-to-many efficient communication, and all of that, like I said, showing the scope of what's possible inside Odoo, and always hearing from you and knowing that you're on top of their deadlines, you're on top of their compliance requirements and things like that. Another thing where people can sort of spend a lot of time is going back and forth, scheduling appointments, consults, discovery calls. You might do consults to people who don't need ongoing help, but they need a sort of support or picking the right software or making a decision in their business. The appointments app is very powerful here. And this is where you can have, for example, like a paid consultation. So you can set your availabilities, you can sync it with your calendar, you can have a whole bunch of questions to like pre-screen someone. And this is an example where you can then push this to your website. You can have this link and, without keep your current website, but have this link to a website. So again, someone can pick their availabilities in their sort of time zone, and they might book in 11 a.m. And you can, like I said, in the back end, build this. This might be before someone does a 50-minute, half an hour consult with you. You make the best use of everyone's time by saying what software you're using. Is it Xero? Is it MyOb? Who's your accountant? Do you have employees on payroll? What's your revenue? You can have a drop-down list here. Do you have more than one company? Trust, complex structures? Do you want to add your business partner, other people in? And this is a way to, when someone says, I want to have a chat, you can send them this link. So, if you don't do any sort of free advice, then, obviously it's up to you in your business model, whether you let people sort of pick your brain for free and just have sessions. And I'll show you that option in a second. But if you want to make sure anyone who books in time with you, they've gone through your link, they've paid, you've taken payment, so they can pay on their credit card, payment, but you've also collected this information so that when you do the consult, you've got all this key information advanced, and they proceed to payment and make payment. And like I said, even if you've got your existing website, this can be a linked page in your existing website, or you can host your entire website through Odoo, which I won't go through, but there is entire comprehensive website hosting and design that you can do, all within Odoo. So the other appointment, like I said, if you do like a first consult free, you might have a simpler version of that. And again, you might have different questions. What do you want to achieve? Do you have a bookkeeper? Where do you want your business to be in 12 months? Same concept though. Here's the link on your website. It's a public link. You can send people, you can email people, you can have on your website or your email signature. People book in a time, they fill in the questions, it auto schedules a Google Meet. But it doesn't require payment. It's just a confirmation in this case because you set it up in the back end as a free meeting, and you might have different ones. Or for an existing client, you might have free, review sessions or something because they're already paying you. Whereas someone new, you might charge them for your time for the initial sort of review and analysis and scoping. So that's 4 flows we've gone through so far, as well as for the baseline of Odoo. So I think we're doing pretty well for time. But again, I'll just sort of take a moment to let everyone digest that. So the goal, like I said, is to centralize your practice management, get back time, get back effort, make it easier to train staff because they're not having to learn 5 different systems. Here's our booking system. Here's our client management system. Here's our other back-end sort of systems and notes. Here's our client files. Everything's sort of in one place. And if you want to add on other apps, like I said, the website app or things like that, there's an apps you can go into, and then you can see all of the sort of Odoo available apps, and they're easy one-click install, uninstall. A lot of them obviously wouldn't be relevant for most bookkeepers, like the point of sale, for example, is more for retail and hospitality clients. But yeah, there's a powerful system. Most of our clients use about sort of 5 or so apps, like the projects, timesheets, contacts, appointments would be a core SMS marketing for a lot of bookkeeping agencies, and having that all in sort of one place, makes it a lot easier and simpler to run your practice and be able to better serve your clients. So the last flow I want to show is another option that might apply to some of you, especially as you build up your book of clients. You start to get a lot of questions and queries and quick questions and phone calls, and everyone knows a quick question is never a quick question. Often it takes time. You got to stop what you're doing. You got to jump into it, especially if you're a sole trader. And your inbox can get messy between leads, clients, troubleshooting, things like that. So what I have seen some service businesses do is use a help desk ticketing system app. So you could have a general client support email. Here I've just made, customer care at kellybookkeeping.odoo.com. So you could make the email instead, clients at kellybookkeeping.com, and that auto forwards this Odoo address. And then whenever your clients send you a ticket, rather than getting blowing up your day-to-day inbox that you use for everything else, it will create a little ticket in here so that you can sort of organize, categorize, prioritize all the inbound client questions, requests, things that you're getting. You can see it's very visual. Like I said, color coding and the look and feel of Odoo is quite similar. Whether you're, having multiple apps, or whether you just use projects, when you come to learn help desk or the CRM, it's quite a similar interface, which makes it very easy to do stars, to prioritize, to set a task. I'm going to call this person back tomorrow, so you set a quick task on that, and that shows up in your task list. Or if you mark something as solved or cancelled, again, it's a quick sort of drag and drop. So the goal is, especially as you get busy, peak period, and bottlenecks, you're not getting 50 email threads, everything sort of through here. And again, you can send emails through here, or you can send out of your Gmail and Outlook and have a one-click sync, and it will sync. So without leaving inbox, it will sync here. But when you want to organize and track things, see the questions that people have, you can do that here. If you timesheet for this work, again, build or unbuild, you can also timesheet, and that's that app connecting back. So you might want to, when this client asks you about doing things in Xero, you might want to timesheet the hour you spend on that, even if you don't bill it. But then that way, that's where it went, because it was sort of an out of spec. It wasn't in your normal projects and tracking, but instead it was, a service issue, which again, may be billable or non-billable, but at least this way, that same workflow of doing timesheeting can capture how much time you're spending per client, which will show you whether or not you're making a profit on your clients. Another thing that some of you might do now or in the future is have like a payroll help desk. So I know some bookkeepers are essentially like an outsourced payroll department for their small business clients. And you might be getting a bunch of emails. So say it's a 10-person sandwich shop. You might be getting a whole bunch of emails from the staff about where's my pay slip, where's my reimbursement, why am I still a casual, different bonuses, super sacrifice. So if you ever want to in the future, plan to run like a payroll help desk, payroll HR sort of service, as part of your, business. Having in this case, the way I set up, you'd have one like sort of mini help desk per client payroll, so that then you can keep Luke's lawyers separate from Sally's sandwiches, and the different tickets and things like this. That have their own email address. So they might have Luke's lawyers, kellybookkeeping.com, just like his email address. Um, and you can also, I'll see if I've got it here. Um, you can also have this as like a web form. People, the employees of Sally's Sandwiches are given, you can email this, and here's a web form. So you can submit your payroll query, your payslip query, things like that. And again, that can be added as just a link that they have as part of their, the service that you're providing them. And again, so it looks more professional, looks more organized, but especially most importantly, helps keep you organized. And also, if you're time sheeting for this work, helps keep all of that very tracked, accountable. And there's quite good built-in analytics within Odoo for how many tickets, how many priority, how long are they taking. Especially if you have a team and maybe you're handling the sales and your team are handling more of the fulfillment, you can keep very good visibility over how many urgent, assigned, opened, failed, what's going on. So as your business grows, you're never losing control of the business. You're always, staying on top of it, even if you have 5 staff and 20 payrolls that you're running for your staff. And again, it's a flexible system, so you're allowed to be creative however you want to use it. These are just some suggested sort of flows that I've seen with other bookkeeping agency clients, and my experience and other sort of professional service firms that are similar. And it's up to you how much you want to sort of run through the system. But this is a small sample of what Odoo is capable of. So hopefully that helps. Like I said, the 5 different flows, there's many more. So if I go back to the specific use of Odoo, what I want to, as a thank you to everyone who's attended today or anyone watching the recording later, who's on Kelly's email list, Kelly's groups, things like that, I've got a specific offer that's only sort of available here. So Odoo, like I said, it's an all-in-one system. The hosting, the maintenance, everything's included. You get 24/6 live chat and email tech support. You get all those apps. We don't charge per app. So if you start with 3 apps and you grow to 30 apps, your bill's not 10xing. We do charge per user though. So each user gets, you can control the access, of course. If you only wanted someone to have help desk, you can do that. If you only want to have view access to projects, but each paid user, so it would be yourself as the owner of the business and any of your staff working in the business, 516 Australian dollars per year. So that's per user per year plus GST. But we have a first year promotion where it goes down to just over $400, which works out to just over $1 a day for all the apps. Like I said, this is your entire technology stack in your business. Of course, you have your client Xero files and Wild files, but for your own practice, this is running your entire practice. If you're a sole trader, for literally $1 a day for the e-sign, the projects, the timesheets, and if you have 2 staff, it's $3 a day for you and your staff members. So that's, like I said, mainstream Odoo. That's on our website. That's all public, very transparent. But specifically for those in Callie's network, what I want to offer is a free 45-minute consult with myself. So that's where I can go through your specific workflows. You've seen the general. You can rewatch this recording. We have a lot of other videos on our YouTube and things like that. But if you want to see your exact workflows, here's what I'm moving off of. Here are the systems I have. Here are the gaps I have. Here's what you didn't cover, but I want to know more. Happy to do a free 45-minute no obligation consult with anyone over Google Meets, and see how Odoo might fit your bookkeeping business, and give you a guided tour specific to, you might say, I've got 2 freelancers, 1 employee, I've got these different services, I also do consulting on the side, or here's how I interact with accountants, how can we get all this organized? That's exactly what I can sort of go through, and even do a secondary session if you need to get through everything. An offer we also have is a year free domain name. So if you've just started your bookkeeping business, you don't even have a website yet, you haven't even bought the www.yourbusinessname.com.au, we offer 1 year of that domain name purchase for free. And we also offer a free website and hosting forever. So even if you've already got your own domain name, you can bring the domain across if you want. You can host your website with us and use our AI sort of build tools. That's something else I didn't have time to show today. But I can show you that in a consult, exactly how to build a template website, have client logins, client portals, appointment links, payment links, things like that. But even for free, so if you just have a chat with me and decide that you don't want to do the paid version, still for free, you're going to walk away with a website, hosting, and even a year of domain. Uh, so like I said, that's even if you just want some advice, you want some guidance, happy to provide that as a no-cost service to everyone. And the website, want to walk around the website and some tools and plans, and maybe as your business builds up, to come and look in the future at all the other paid features, which are those like the projects, the timesheets, the contacts, the CRM, the WhatsApp, the SMS marketing, things I mentioned. So like I said, it's about $400 to $600 per user per year. On a 1 year plan. So if you proceed and purchase a 1 year plan, I'll throw in a free hour of implementation, configuration, training, helping you maybe get all your contacts into Odoo, help build out the knowledge base, work out your document structure, things like that. Normally we charge, and again, this is on our website, $200 an hour plus GST for this sort of professional services consulting. But on a 1 year plan, $200 value, I'll throw that in for free. On a 3 year plan, so you're paying essentially, $1,200 per user, so 3 years up front. So it is a slightly bigger commitment, but the benefit is obviously that you don't have any tech software bills for the next 3 years, and you lock in today's price for 3 years. If you're willing to proceed with that, like I said, you don't have to decide today, but after a consult with myself, and going through and a free trial even of the system, I'll throw in 3 hours of personal implementation, configuration, training, get everything working, your help desk, even things I didn't show you, like the website, I can show you how to set that up. And you might have guessed the final option, if you purchase a 5 year plan. So again, this is a sort of ongoing offer, so you don't have to decide today or even this week. But if after our discussion, and Callie's how you heard about Odoo, if you purchase a 5 year plan, so I said that would be sort of, a few $1,000s up front, but your software's paid off for the next 5 years and you've locked in today's price. There's no price increases on that account you've prepaid for 5 years. I'll throw in 5 hours of implementations. That might be 5 1 hour sessions over 5 weeks, or it might be 10 half-an-hour sessions over 10 weeks to get you up and running, trained, get your business humming and flowing. Because I know often people buy software and then you get frustrated, it doesn't work quite the way you want, or you can't get the support. But that's why I'm including 5 hours of implementation, configuration, training for yourself, for your team to get it all working, which again at $200 an hour is $1,000 value. So that's exclusive offer just for Callie's network. So if you want to find out more, redeem, if you pull out your phone and scan this QR code, it will take you to my Google page where you can book straight in to my Google Calendar. I'll leave it on the screen as well while we're doing Q&A. I'll put it in the chat as well. So if you want to book in a time, even if you just want a little 15-minute session, just book it in 45 minutes and we can obviously go shorter if you need. But that's the way to contact me. And also, like I said, put in the Zoom. That's my email, dest@odoo.com, and my direct mobile. So if you want to have a chat about anything you've seen today, or about the offer or the website, or like I said, the other apps or what's possible and how it fits into your business, that's how you can get in touch. I'm sure Callie will send around the slides along with the recording. So I think we've done fairly good time. Like I said, I haven't been able to see the chatter, but I don't know, Callie, if you wanted to unmute people who had a question or wanted to, or if there are any questions that have come up in
Yeah, so
the.
Dylan's managed to focus on
Mhm,
a lot of the questions, and so he has, gone through a lot of the. So if anyone looks in the chat, you'll see that it is our data is stored within Australia. It's in Sydney, and there's a lot of things about understanding uploading and
mhm,
documents and things like that. So that they do have document storage where instead of using HubDoc or whatever, you can put
mhm.
it in there and utilize the accounting system instead of using, HubDoc or anything like that. I just wanted to quickly touch on some of the other things that I noticed about the systems, um, because there's a lot of a lot of our clients that we work with, and this system might work for some of them, as a whole platform because it's got inventory, it's got
Hmm.
manufacturing, it's got purchasing and invoicing, it's got accounting, it's got, it doesn't have payroll at the moment, but that is coming. It's got an e-commerce online store. So instead of using Shopify or something like that, you can utilize this. So there are so many different things that it actually does that could help your clients to be able to have it in an all-in-one system with POS and everything. So yeah, do check it out and have that conversation. You've got I'm just having a quick look at everything. The social media marketing,
Hmm.
you can create events in there. Something else I really, really loved was the e-learning. So if you've got clients that are just starting out on Zero or MyOb or any of that, and you want to put in your own video and give them access, of how they need to start up or, how you run your business and you want them to understand the terms and conditions, you can do a little video and send that out to them. So there's options there for you to train up your clients in bulk as well. Steph has just asked about security. So what kind of security do we have on the platform? That's a very good question.
So you can have two-factor. If you want to have two-factor logins, everything's sort of password protected. If the data is also backed up, so I guess security is a broad topic. Was there something like I said, I'm just not able to see the messages, it seems, for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Mm,
It's
no
just
idea.
showing up blank. Maybe I've got to double
That's
click
all
on
right.
this. But yeah, so in terms
Yep.
of security, all the normal things you can connect it to your Outlook single sign-on or your Google single
Mm,
sign-on, if that's how you securely authenticate all of your sort of systems and software. But all your normal two-factor, so if someone gets your password, if they haven't got your phone and your two-factor, they can't log in. User access controls as well. You can lock down so someone might only have view-only access, for example. But yeah, if there's a specific security question, let me know. But it's all your standard sort of tier one SaaS sort of multinational sort of software security protocols, encryption, all those sort of things as well are all baked into Odoo out of the box.
yeah, absolutely. Look, they've also got like I was just reading the recruitment, so you can actually have a job board effectively.
Yep.
And if you want to do HR comprehensive HR suite to recruit, record expenses, and review employee performance. So it's got so many things in there that are just, because it's got everything in the one place and it's actually a great deal. That's why I wanted to bring it to you. How long does the offer last? Well, I mean that this will be up on my YouTube channel for a good 12 months. So
Hmm.
hopefully Derek is prepared for that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, no, I'm happy. And just on your point, Kelly, as well, for some people here today, maybe you think, you've got your current practice management is fine for your needs, but you think some of your clients, like we mentioned, we're just sort of scratching the surface and more specific to bookkeepers. But if you have clients that need, POS and inventory and things like that, I'm also happy to extend that offer to them of if they buy a 3 year or 5 year to give 3 hours or 5 hours of free consulting, training, support. So even if you want to do a favor to one of your clients who's reevaluating their sort of software stack and their business, and you want a bit of a chat, obviously first before doing that, happy to have a chat with you, and then, like I said, extend that goodwill and that offer, and just have them mention they're part of your network and Callie's network. I'm happy to extend that unique offer to them to give, like I said, sort of $200 to $1,000 worth of complimentary sort of training, configuration, support to help your clients get up and running. And that sort of a value add you can also provide to any of your clients.
Yep. How much was that? Can we just go back to the initial price? So it was 400 and something for the year. What was it? Or
Yeah, so
$32?
for the first year, it's just over $1 a day. Sorry, just
Yeah,
go back. So
there we go.
412.80 plus GST for any
Hmm.
users you add on up front. So if it's yourself and two other people in your business, if you do
Hmm.
those three users, it's 412.80 for the first year. Like I said, if you do it on a 1 year and then the 516, so the second and third year price. And
Hmm.
like I said, there is a little bit of room to move as well on the on the 516 price for the other years, like if you do a 3 year or 5 year. So that's sort of the headline price to
Yep.
keep in mind. Like I said, that's for all the apps across all the system, um, paid up front, but that's sort of the financial commitment you'll be looking at.
Yep. And just to clarify, the external user, so the client, they only get access to the free part of the portal that you're giving them access to. They can't actually utilize the whole system. and
No,
it's
so
free for
like
the
you can
client.
share documents, yeah, documents
Yep.
with them. You can share, like I said, projects. They can have a help desk ticket like link, on your website, the appointment link. So the sort of external facing aspects. So if you've got 50 different people with 50 different document files, you're still just paying for yourself as a user. Or if you've got lots of different people hitting your website or things like that. Or like you've got 20 clients, each has their own project. You're only paying for yourself if you're the one admin, the one user. But all 20 or 200 clients can submit documents, see projects, be shared on things. But yeah, sort of back end, access is where the sort of that requires to be a paid user, which would be yourself and people you have working in your business.
Yep. So just to clarify, so me and one staff, if I go for 3 years, offer is 2,476.80. Let's do the math.
I'd have to get the exact calculator. Like I said, the 516 is the um price 3 by 2, and then divided by 3. On like a 3 year as well, like I said, I'd probably take a little bit extra off.
Hmm.
So I'd have to work out the exact thing. But yeah, that sounds roughly right. But like I said, happy to provide formal quotes and calculations. But yeah, that's sort of the ballpark of what it would be for 2 users on like a prepaid 3 year with access to all the apps.
Fantastic. Does anyone else have any further questions? I mean, as you can see, it does a lot and it's actually a great deal. And considering all of the different, platforms that we use, this could be a game changer for some of you. I mean, for me, being in training, it's fantastic. Um, yep, that's a good question, Steph. Actually, I was going to ask that before. With the appointments, can we put in a link to Zoom or Teams, or does it have to be Google Meets?
I think the native sync is mainly with Google Meets. It
Hmm.
can sync to your Outlook calendar. Although I
Hmm.
think I haven't tested, if you do it to your Outlook calendar and you have Teams on by default, I think when it sends out the calendar invite, it would have a Teams link in there. But I can sort of double check that. I know definitely with Google, of myself and other clients sort of do that. With
Hmm.
Zoom, I don't think so, just because it's not native to the Google and Outlook calendars. But I think there's another way to have like a Zoom sort of link in there that people would be sent. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, definitely with Google, and I'm pretty sure also with Teams. Or there's
Okay.
a Odoo video conferencing. You might remember when I showed the chat and like Dylan, I want to have a
Mm.
VoIP call or a video call. If you don't have Outlook or you don't have Gmail, you can use the Odoo video calling system as well to, have those initial consults. It's a sort of basic system, but that's sort of an option. But the Zoom, I think it might not natively be able to sort of generate a Zoom link.
Okay. The next question is there a trial?
Yes, yes. So you can do a
Hmm.
free 2 week trial. Um, odoo.com/trial. Like I said, the offer for all the support's mainly, sort of coming through me. Obviously, if it's a trial,
Mm.
it might go someone else in the office. And then it's just a generic sort of trial. So, I would recommend sort of sending me an email or booking time on my calendar, and I can help you set up a trial, set up the apps you need, and do that sort of stuff. But yeah, we do have a free 2 week trial. You're welcome to play around with the system. But like I said, to redeem these specific offers, I would need to be the one to sort of help you through that. But yeah,
Okay.
to answer it short, yes, a 2 week free trial completely possible. And if you need a few extra days, a week extra, just to validate some workflows, I can also, add a little bit of time on the end as well, just to make sure you're really comfortable with it.
Yep. So, Karen, if you do the trial, you need to do it all through Derek so that he can make sure that you can take up the
Hmm.
offer later, um, once the trial's done. So, yeah. So just make sure you do it all through Derek so that we can keep track of it.
Yeah. So
Uh,
if you, email,
mhm.
SMS, or this calendar link, yeah, like I said, get in touch. I can help sort you out with the trial resources and obviously, guiding you, answering any questions and follow-ups people have as well.
Okay. Beautiful. Can you do a one-to-many link similar to this style of meeting? So, one where we send out a link to like a single link and everybody jumps on.
Um, is that through Zoom, do you mean? Like if it's a Zoom or
Well, that's
with the
how I do
built-in
it through
Odoo?
Zoom.
Yeah, so I mean, like, if you're sort of sending, like, I guess in the email marketing, that's probably where, or like the SMS, if you're sending to an audience of people and you say, hey, I want you to, dial into this Zoom, that's probably like, so that's the part you do in Odoo, more the one-to-many communication through like a email, and then you can put the Zoom link and then, blast that out, or you can even do drip campaigns as well. Like, so there's so much, it's sort of always hard to compress just a fraction of what Odoo can do, but there is like a sort of automated, if anyone's done a sort of ClickFunnels or if they don't reply within a week, send a follow-up email, you can have an automated sequence of follow-up emails so that someone who maybe inquires or is part of your newsletter, they get an offer and that offer can have a link to your Zoom and things like that. So there's a sort of marketing email automation multi-step sequence as well built into Odoo.
Excellent. And can we send out automatic emails like we go right the first of the month every quarter we want it to send out to all of our clients an email to say, "Hey guys, here we are, another batch time. Can you please get me X, Y, Z?" Can we do a bulk email like that?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
automatically set up.
Yeah, so there's a few different types of email automation. So you can have it scheduled ones like that that go out at set times a month, quarter, end of year. You can have different groups. Like I said, you might have a clients with PAYG staff versus those without, and you might have two separate automated lists. And you can even set up some other little automations in the system. Like when a new lead comes in, they automatically get an SMS or an email saying thanks for your inquiry. Maybe here's a Zoom link, or here's a link to book in, or here's the next steps.
Hmm.
Um, so, like I said, the system is quite, a few of those complex automations can require a slightly higher level of Odoo. That's more sort of $600 to $800 per user per year. But yeah, the basic automated emails is all possible in standard, but then more complex sort of rules and automations and auto creating activities or auto sending emails. It's quite a flexible and powerful system for that as well.
Awesome. All right. Fantastic. All right. So we're just about out of time. So yes, I will be posting the YouTube link and I will be sending it out to everyone who registered for this as well. And we can certainly, I'll send you all the details in an email as well as to Derek's information so that you've got it all there as well. So if you have any more questions, there fees for the SMSs? Yeah, Dylan just
Um,
answered that.
y-
So there is a
yeah.
Twilio directly feed. Yeah, so it's a third party to fulfill the service. So it's only a small fee, but yes, there is fees on that.
Yeah, it's a few fractions of a cent per message. But yeah, we have a native integration with Twilio, probably the biggest SMS company in the world, but they have local Australian options and it would go from an Australian number. But yeah, like I said, is a small fee to send the SMS, whereas the WhatsApp and the emails are included in the price of Odoo, if that's how you want to bulk message your clients.
Fantastic. All right, so we're getting a lot of thank yous and a great presentation. I think it was fantastic, and it's certainly an interesting game changer, and it's going to be interesting to see where you guys go from here. All right, beautiful. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for coming, and thank you, Derek and Dylan, for sending out all that information for us. And if you do have any further questions, please do book in a time with Derek, and he can certainly help you move forward if you'd like a further demo. So again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Callie. Really appreciate you having me on and introducing me to your network. And thanks everyone for attending. Yeah, really appreciate it. Like I said, happy to make lots of time to chat to people in the coming days and weeks afterwards. And yeah, answer any specific questions you have for yourself or for your clients. And like I said, yeah, help get you hopefully set up and improving your business in 2026.
Beautiful. Awesome. Have a great day, everybody. Take care.
Thanks so much, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.